Spring training games have begun. Jasson Dominguez looks jacked. Clarke Schmidt looked great today. And we have a new host. So let's talk.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Stacey Gotsoulias, and I have a co-host. The day is here. The day is finally here. I have a co-host. His name is Steve Granado. Steve, come in for a second.
What's up? We're doing this.
We're doing it, Steve.
Big day.
It's
a big day for Locked On Yankees history.
It is, actually. Yes. We're going to talk more about you being here and everything that we're planning on doing in the show in segment 3. So that's a teaser for the rest of you. And yeah, I'm very excited about this. This is going to be fun.
I am very excited. Hello to Locked On Yankees fandom. Hello to Yankees fandom.
Yes.
You may have a very small footnote of who I actually am. Just like from maybe one tweet in the middle of last summer, somewhere around the trade deadline, you may have seen my name pop up. That's about it. But other than that, that's about it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
We'll chat. We're here to chat.
We're here to chat. As always, remember to make Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. And you know what to do. Subscribe everywhere. Listen to us everywhere because we are literally everywhere. So today's episode, we're going to talk about Jasson Dominguez because he played in Saturday's game against the Phillies and looked tremendously huge and hit a monster home run. And I really will talk about this during the segment, but I loved the Philly guys' call. Clarke Schmidt pitched really well today. We had a poll question on Locked On Yankees, and some people answered it because we were trying to figure out who would you like to be the 5th starter. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Anthony Volpe and the pitch clock and the discourse surrounding it because there's a lot of discourse. So let's get into it. Jasson Dominguez is a monster, a 20-year-old jacked monster who hit a moonshot against the Phillies on Saturday. And I couldn't believe his power, first of all. And something about is it a backswing when and he kind of, something with his arm that he did. I just was so pumped up when I saw this because a lot of people are worried about the fact that he's so young. Why are the Yankees holding on to him? You're going to find out why the Yankees are holding on to a few of these guys during spring, and I think this is really fun. Boone says about Dominguez, he's talented, just good, quality at bats. You could tell the guy has a real understanding and ease of the strike zone, which is important when you're only 20, because 20 is so young. People don't realize how young 20 years old is. There's no panic up there. It was good to see him get into one, and get into one he did.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that big swing he has. And I just the first images we saw of Jasson Dominguez as soon as he got to Steinbrenner, I was like, this dude he just looks he has really big shoulders, right? Like he has a good build. So obvious baseball talents wise, just physicality of him is very impressive. But when he showed up to spring, I was like, oh, this dude put on some good weight. Like he definitely his traps look good. His shoulders look good. He is definitely filling out, he's squaring up. I'm very impressed. If you're watching on the YouTube side, you can see what we're talking about. But it is, if you didn't get a chance to watch for one reason or another, he looks huge.
Yeah, he's not overly tall either. He's not one of these monstrous 6'4" giant shouldered looking like a superhero dude. He's kind of compact and big, but yeah, that was just really, really, really impressive. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I'm hoping kind of that he sticks in Hudson Valley just for a bit because I'm close to Hudson Valley. I live 40 minutes away and I kind of want to get up there to see him because I missed Volpe. I missed my chance there. So yeah. That would be it.
Jasson Dominguez 5'10", by the way, 5'10".
He's only an inch taller than me, but he's a lot heavier than me and more, I always joke that I have giant shoulders and compared to him, I do not. So, yeah, it was really cool to see that. And I like how the players who are veterans watch these kids and they're just like, wow, these guys are actually really good. This is pretty exciting. Um,
And on Sunday, very impressed with Clarke Schmidt. He looked really, really good on Sunday. And so a little tease for the third segment, as you mentioned. I was with the Rail Riders last season and got to watch Clarke Schmidt when he wasn't in New York. And like that, those 6 batters faced on Sunday was how he looked a lot with the Rail Riders last season. Just like mowing dudes down, just the tight little breaking ball he has, just moves so well. That slider moves so well, and it was really working. And look, you don't want to take a ton of stock into this stuff, especially first outing of spring, but it's nice to see that there wasn't any lack whatsoever in velocity. There wasn't any lack in anything, really. Again, that breaking ball looked really good for Clarke Schmidt. And I mean, again, we'll get to this in a second, but 2 innings, 5 Ks. Like,
yeah.
What more do you want? He kept it down. He kept it very tight. Like, Johnny Brito didn't necessarily keep a lot down on Sunday because it was a split squad on Sunday. But I mean, this battle for the 5 spot, I think, is going to be one of the more intriguing, like not front and center lines, like the Peraza, Volpe, Sweeney, Cabrera, IKF storyline is going to be huge.
Right.
But I mean, just by sheer amount of names I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But I think this like battle for the 5 spot is very interesting. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. I don't mind Domingo Germán. I just, I don't know. I feel like Schmidt might be the better choice. I know there's a lot of discourse about this as well, just because of stuff from the past with Germán and people believing that other fans are biased against him because of that. He's fine. He's perfectly fine. And that one year that he did well, sure, he had a really good record. His ERA, if you need a body to pitch, Domingo Germán is a good choice. But I kind of like watching Clarke Schmidt pitch better. It seems to be more fun. Plus, he's working on that new cutter. And if that becomes a pitch for him, there's more variety there. And I feel like that could be really good for him.
Yeah, it'll be really huge, especially against left-handers, right? That's what he struggled against lefties last year, in the show especially. So for him to be able to get that cutter working and legit would be very nice to break into lefties. Here the poll, remember we asked over on Locked On Yankees on YouTube and on Twitter. You're seeing those results on screen now. Who do you want in the 5th spot of the New York Yankees rotation on opening day? Kind of weird results. So at the time of us recording this episode, we had just shy of 100 votes split between the 2 spots, and they're kind of split. On Twitter, 65.8% in favor of Clarke Schmidt, 23.7% in favor of Domingo Germán, and then 10.5% in favor of somebody else. I don't know who that somebody else would be at this point. Johnny Brito is not ready. Matt Crook is not ready. And there's a lot. If I don't know who somebody else, people didn't respond. You got to respond. And then on the YouTube side of things, it was 38% in favor of Clarke Schmidt, 48% in favor of Domingo, and then 14% somebody else. We did get a couple of responses. Stacey, I want to get your thoughts on this. This is coming from Adams Life 1028 on Twitter. All stats, projections, and analytics would point to Germán being the more consistent and better major league ready pitcher. Anyone voting for Schmidt like him personally over Domingo, him making mistake disqualifies him from being the 5th starter for Yankees Twitter fan base. I don't know what that means, but your thoughts, Stacey. Do people just like Clarke Schmidt more than Domingo Germán?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does have to do with what happened off the field a few years back, with the domestic violence suspension and incident that happened at the end of, was that 2019? See, the pandemic makes my years, I kind of screw them up, but I think it was the end of 2019. And, some people still hold that against him, which it's understandable. And I don't know. I feel like they need to give Clarke Schmidt a chance. And I feel like he could do really well if they give him that chance. I mean, they drafted him first for a reason, so might as well use him.
Looks like 2021 was like he officially issued an apology in 2021, actually.
Yeah.
So just a couple of years ago. So yes, Your time is all thrown off because all of
I know. Yeah. The pandemic really, I don't know. It still feels like it's 2020 and we're into 2023 already. Like, how did that happen?
One more quick response over on YouTube here in this first segment. This is coming from Mr. Darwin. I voted Herman because he's older and more experienced, and at 30 years, he's going into his 5th season. I want to know what we have in him. But let's be honest, whichever player wins the slot in April, the other will have plenty of chances to earn a spot in the rotation over the course of the season. I think that's a great point to bring up. Yes, they like just because someone makes an opening day roster does not mean that's set in stone. Like we've seen it with every team ever. Your roster's going to change all the time.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. I mean, it also is the same thing for the shortstop battle, which we won't be talking about today, but we'll be talking about in the future because that's going to be a big story for the Yankees. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all the fat and calories? Then you got to try a Built Bar. There's only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. You guys know we talk about Built Bars all the time because they're actually really good. I've had people email me and send me Facebook messages telling me that they've bought Built Bars because of how much I've talked about them. So I'm not lying. I'm telling you. But for years, we've been telling you to go to Built.com. And now you can actually go into a store and buy them. That's right. You can go to Walmart or Sam's Club. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. And if you're close enough to a Sam's Club, you can run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors brownie batter, which is incredible, and churro, also incredible. You can thank me later. Another thing that got me excited, Anthony Volpe. Running around the bases, getting a hit, running around the bases, stealing bases, creating chaos for the Blue Jays already in spring training. I loved it. I loved it so much. I saw the highlight of it, and this kid's the real deal, people. There's a reason why the Yankees held on to these guys. And I know a lot of people have trouble with the Yankees holding on to their prospects and hugging them, but I feel like we're going to see some fun stuff from Volpe, Dominguez, and Peraza, who we haven't talked about yet. But yeah, he looked good at the plate. I was very excited about that.
He did. He looked very good at the plate. Again, I want to hammer this into your head.
Right.
Don't take this too seriously. This is 3 at-bats in February.
Right.
But like
there's
I said,
a lot of pressure on him, though, right?
There is. Let's be real, he's not going to break camp. There's no way. He played like 20-something games with the Rail Riders last year. It was a mix and match.
Right.
He started super hot as soon as he got called up from Somerset. He fell into a horrendous week and a half long slump, and then turned into average there towards the end. But I mean, looked great. A couple hard liners. Tweet coming from Connor Foley of the Times Tribune in Scranton. Anthony Volpe's first at bat of spring is a 105.9 mile an hour line out to short. Very impressed. It was early on in the bat. Can't remember if it was first or second pitch. Then he went the opposite way for his double, a hustle double, and then he not blooped. I mean, he got good contact, dropping one to left center field. And then you mentioned a pair of stolen bases as well. Looked good out on the base paths. He stole second on a pickoff, on a pitch out rather, against Rob Brantley, who we played with last year.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little out of touch. And then the very next pitch, he stole third. So, yeah, look, Anthony Volpe's good. And we know that. He definitely needs more seasoning, though. I don't think Yankee fans should be too, the Peraza discourse last year of call him up is not the same case right now for Volpe. He needs more seasoning. I still think Peraza needs more seasoning. For that matter, I still think Cabrera needs more seasoning. So I don't know how deep you want to get into this shortstop battle. I think we're going to do a whole episode on that.
Oh yeah.
That's a full 30-minute discussion. But your initial thoughts on just dip your toe in. Where are you at with this battle?
Well, everyone knows who's been watching and listening. IKF's a good dude. I like him, but I cannot sit through another whole season of him double pumping the ball and just making me nervous every time he throws the ball to first base. And that's nothing against him. It's just the way that things were last season. And everything was magnified in the playoffs, obviously, but that was a big deal in the playoffs. I mean, that really screwed things up. And I don't know. I understand that some of these kids need more seasoning, but I feel like they need to, if IKF by like May is still kind of, they need to do something.
He's replacement level, which is fine. You don't need an all-star caliber shortstop. You always want one, but you don't need one.
Right.
And I don't think you're going to get a full season of just IKF. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it can't.
There's so many, I wouldn't say opportunities. There's a lot of, the possibilities are pretty endless. Like the Yankees are in a really good spot at short. Arguably in too good of a spot. I think there is still a high chance that one of them gets moved because we aren't even talking about Trey Sweeney.
Right.
And he's a pretty true shortstop.
Yeah.
So there is a serious prospect logjam at short. And so I'm curious to see how it plays out because they're going to have to favor somebody.
Right.
I would favor Peraza defensively over Volpe. Again, I only saw like 20-some games of Volpe last season. I would favor Peraza. I like his creativity at short. I like his arm. They're super similar. Any other team, Cabrera's a shortstop.
Yeah.
Like he's a very good shortstop. He could easily play third. I think of Oswaldo Cabrera like Manny Machado, where I'm like, he's a shortstop, but he's going to be forced to play third.
Right.
And I think that's probably going to be the case. And I think that's the Yankees' plan moving forward. If I had to venture a guess, I know it's he didn't play the outfield with us last year.
Right.
I don't know why as soon as he gets to the show, it's like, all right, throw him in the outfield. He played like one game with us in the outfield. And we're like, what's happening? Why is he?
And he did okay in the outfield too, which was even funnier.
He actually did really good.
Yeah.
It was just a little confusing to me, but yeah, I think they want him to be a utility player, and I think he's up for the challenge. I just don't think he should have to be because he's a very talented defender.
Right.
But I think it's just kind of the situation that the Yankees are in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of interesting for them to have that many people battling for one position. Plus, you have other guys that play other positions. Because I know that at some point, if they want to keep Volpe and Peraza, one's going to have to play short. Maybe the other plays second, and then they put someone else at third. DJ LeMahieu's not going to be around for a while or a long time. They want him to be a utility guy now, which was what he was supposed to be before he became like the MVP in 2019 and shocked the hell out of everyone. I wouldn't mind IKF as the utility guy because I feel like he probably plays third better than he plays shortstop. And, if Josh Donaldson continues to not be able to hit the ball, I would rather see IKF at third and then one of the kids at short and Glaber at second for now, which wouldn't be that bad of an option.
That Oswald and Oswaldo worked really well together up the middle last season. And they're like best friends, like straight up best friends. They're texting all the time. Like they send memes to each other. They send like TikToks to each other like that. They're like that kind of close of friends. They're very, very close. They're warm up partners. Lockers are next to each other. That type of friends. So like, I can see that being a really good duo up the middle.
Yeah.
I think they would probably favor Volpe over Cabrera if I just had to venture a guess.
Right.
But look at us going, let's not get into the shortstop battle. And we've been talking about shortstop battle. It's the hottest like conversation around Yankee spring camp, right? Like it's a big deal.
It is. That's going to be the biggest story of the year. So in a moment, we're going to talk about the direction of the show. We're going to introduce Steve properly. He's going to talk all about himself. So I hope you're ready for that, Steve. So as I said, this is the segment where we properly introduce Steve Granado, my co-host, and we're going to talk about the direction of the show. So I'm very excited about this. So Steve, tell everyone about yourself.
Yeah, it's me, baby.
And how long we've known each other now?
Yes, we've like a year plus.
Yeah,
maybe keen-eyed and very into it Locked On Yankees fans might remember me from one crossover in the offseason last year.
Yeah.
They might remember that.
Yeah.
No, I used to host Locked On Angels. Cards on the table, I'm an Angels fan, but I spent last season in the Yankee system. As I mentioned, I was doing play-by-play in Scranton Wilkes-Barre alongside Adam Marco. And, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but to toot my own horn, I broke the Oswald Peraza call-up. You're welcome. It was a great feeling, not going to lie. It blew up. It was my most popular tweet of all time. Yeah, we watched Oswald we watched him get hugs in the dugout. It was the coolest thing that maybe has ever happened in my career. I loved it so much. But now here I am to share my wealth of knowledge. And
thank goodness.
for YouTube folks, and if you're not on the YouTube side, what are you doing? For YouTube folks, you're seeing this is all feels new. It's all kind of revamped. I'm helping produce the show with Stacy. It is still absolutely Stacy's show, and you do a great job. And I'm just here to make this show and you as best as it could possibly be.
Thank you. I'm very excited about this because you're definitely more tech savvy than I am. Although I've gotten better at editing and stuff. I'm very excited about how much
I think you do a great job. You do a great job.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I'm very excited about this because I like bouncing ideas off people because it's hard to talk by yourself for 30 minutes. As much as I like talking, it's not as easy to talk by yourself for 30 minutes. It's so much better to have someone else to bounce thoughts off of and discuss things with. And the fact that you're not a Yankee fan actually will probably, because Abby wasn't either, my former co-host, and it worked well because she works as a journalist and she came from that point of view where, yes, I write about sports, but I'm really just a Yankee fan doing a Yankees podcast. And as much as I try to be, I try to be fair and I try to not have pinstriped glasses on. I call people out when they're doing things and I'm not always, rose-colored glasses at all. And I try to be as fair as possible, but I still am a Yankee fan at heart. I can't help it.
No, I get that.
Yeah, but I will say when things are bad and when things are doing, not well. And because sometimes when you're watching shows and people are a little too positive about the team, you're like, all right, you got to call some people out for things.
Well, I'm here to wrangle you in too.
Yes.
I'm here to keep this show. I'm running a tight ship, Stace. That's the goal. We're running this tight ship. But yeah, I mean, we also want to make sure we get the fan base really involved. I'm very into the community aspect of a fan base, and obviously Yankees got a great fan base. I saw it all last season as being a member of the community, which was great, and I want to keep that going. That's why we're already implementing your comments into the show. So tweet at us at Locked On Yankees. Participate in the new polls that we're going to be doing. I'm going to really be on those polls. I want to hear back from fans, and you guys drive the show. That's how I ran Locked On Angels, and that's how we're going to run Locked On Yankees together. Fans drive the show. What do you want to hear from us? We will say it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. That's why you go to the fan side of things, because they're going to say things that maybe other people just can't say because of who their boss is.
Yep.
Our bosses let us run free, baby.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't have. It's not like we work for Yes. I don't have to hide my feelings about certain things. Anyway,
that's what I'm all about, Stace. That's the goal.
Yeah, but I'm excited about the polls.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. I'm excited about the polls because the people like participating in that. And I sometimes try to come up with things, but I think you'll be better at coming up with questions than I am, because some days I'm just, I don't know.
And I'm very into the prospect side of things, so that's going to be something I'm going to keeping my eye on. Stace, you watch the Yanks.
Yes.
I got the Patriots, Rail Riders, Renegades, and Tarpons. I'm all in. I'll keep my eye there. I bought the MLB TV subscription because I'm a shill, and I don't exactly get Yes Network in Orange County. So I gotta, and I also wouldn't buy a TV package because I'm not 50 years old. 60 years old, 70 years old, however old people buy things. I don't know. Anyway, but I'm gonna keep my eye on the minor leagues all season. And since I got to work in the system last year, I have a lot of good connects. So we'll have a lot of connections to be able to get some interviews, hopefully, and get some more people on the show that know things and are smarter than us, which is not hard to find.
Yeah, really, not at all.
Anyway. I'm Steve Granado. That's me, at Steve Granado. Follow me. I will be talking about the show there.
Yeah. And I just realized our initials are the same, SG. What does that mean?
That's trippy. That's very trippy.
That's funny.
Scary. Thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. For your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you get your pods and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for checking us out. Tomorrow's show, we're talking about Sevy on the mound. His first outing, 6:30 at night, Steinbrenner Field. What more could you ask for? So join us on Tuesday when we talk about it.